Hey everybody, this is Les from Cobalt, and we're here in Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm with the world famous Discus Hans. Say hi, Hans.
Hi everybody.
So I'm up here in this neck of the woods. Was at the Diamond State Aquarium Society last night, and today stopped by, and we're here to tour Mr. Hans's facility. So you might not think much of it when you pop up. There's just this little door right here that the man's got some of the best discus you'll see anywhere in the world behind this building. And if you want to come here yourself, Hans is open on the weekends.
For visitors, yeah, on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday by appointment between 2 and 4. So just shoot me an email or a phone call, and we can set something up. No problem.
Yeah. So weekends, Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays, 2 to 4, or by appointment. Yep.
Always by appointment,
Always
because
by...
you never know I'm here. If I got something with my grandkids, then I'm not here. Then I take a day off, and then I spend the time with my grandkids, and then you have to make an appointment for another day.
Well,
let's go.
Can we go in and take a look?
Let's
All right.
go in.
You're so much taller than I am. I have to hold it way up. All right, we're gonna go in here and take a gander.
The people don't want to see me anyway. They want to see the fish.
Oh, come on now. Wow. So just right off the bat, walking in the door, there's a whole wall of awards. Now, I know you're not a Lifetime Achievement Award winner. What are the rest of these bad boys up here?
Those are all from discus shows and ACA. So we went to mostly the beginning when we had more time to travel.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's just getting
A little crazy.
busier and busier and crazier. So we don't have much time to get out of this fish house anymore.
And when you started, how long have you been here?
I've been here now for 15 years.
15 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
15 years.
So here's just the beginning of some of his tanks. Some of the big boys are over, the crazy ones are over on that wall over here.
Yeah, and every setup, what it is, every setup is on the top what it is. Those are the brilliants. It's the 2.5 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, and 5 inch. So we got it all.
These are the brilliants in this row.
Yep.
And then these guys here are 5 inchers here.
Yep. And then the next block are the blue diamonds.
Blue diamonds. And these are guys that are right by the door, so they're getting foggy. Yep.
Those those are acrylic tanks.
Oh, acrylic. Okay.
Acrylic
All
tanks,
right,
and over time they get a little bit foggy instead of the glass tanks.
So here's some of the smaller ones down here. Beautiful blue diamonds.
So we got on this side over here, we got 6 different types. On this side.
6 different types, and then it looks like all of the systems are on a central filtration system down here.
We got 3 different systems over here. 3 different systems, and every block is one system with their own central system on the bottom, or the sump, just what you want to call it.
So how many total gallons do you have?
I have no idea.
Too many.
It's a lot. It's
yeah. So I mean, you got four racks though,
4
right?
different racks.
And they're
it's about 2,000 gallon in a rack, I think.
yeah. So about 10,000 gallons worth of stuff. Yeah.
Total.
And so each rack. So here we got 2 rows. So both these rows on the same system.
On one system, yeah.
And then how does it work? It looks like you got some filters below.
So we got a pump in the middle that gets the water from the 2 filters at the bottom, pumps it up, and goes all the way in a main pipe over the system, and it comes down in smaller pipes where we can adjust the water, how much water we want with every valve. For each tank we can adjust the water coming in.
Okay, so
you even can shut it off if you want, but
and then it just drains out of the corner there.
And all the water that's coming in
goes out
to the strainer, to the spray bars, through the filter foam, all ported foam. That's all we use, all ported foam. Goes to the ported foam, back to the filter.
And what kind of foam is it?
It's ported foam. Ported foam.
Ported
from
foam.
Germany.
From Germany. Okay.
Yeah.
Fancy European foam. And here's maybe a little better shot of that. So I know all the time, every time I talk to you, it sounds like you're doing water changes, doing maintenance.
Yeah.
So what's some of your maintenance routines?
No, the most of the time is that we water changes is a big thing because you got a lot of fish in the tanks, and we feed a lot of food. So the more food you feed, the more water changes you have to do. You know, so if you overfeed the fish, then you have to do every other day at least 20% water change, 20-30%.
So you're doing 20 to 30% water changes
Approximately every other day.
every other day.
But that is because the amount of fish that we have and the amount of food that we throw in the tanks.
Yeah. So these little guys, I mean, there's quite a bit. I mean, how many fish do you keep? What is this? A 29 gallon? Looks like maybe.
Those are 20 highs.
20 highs. Okay.
Sometimes you got 60 fish in a 20 high. 60 or the 2.5 inch fish.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot of fish.
And then on your big guys, these are pairs.
The big guys,
or
pairs,
potential pairs. Yeah.
maybe pairs. We try to pair up the pairs over here because a lot of people want to buy pairs, proven pairs. Now what we do is we ask Stenker to select males and females, and we select them here again and put them together in a tank. And the fish are for sale as single fish, but if they prove, and prove does not mean eggs. Eggs just means that there is at least one female in the tank.
Okay.
We only sell them as a pair if we have babies in the tank here.
So how long do you proof them typically?
It just depends. Sometimes they spawn within a week and they have babies a few days later. Sometimes it takes 1 or 2 months. And most of the time, I don't even get the time to prove them because they are sold already before I can prove the pairs.
Like here's one for Brad as a solo. I think that says solo. Yeah.
Sold.
Sold. All right. So he bought this pair.
This is an approval pair. They had babies on the cone.
So those are wigglers. I don't want to get too close and spook them out, but those are wigglers on it?
Not anymore. I think they're gone already. But
yeah,
I think the eggs, some of the eggs still hatching. But those had babies on the cone, so it's absolutely a male and a female.
And I know we were talking earlier before we went live that in the past you used to not sell the babies, but now if they're a pair proves and the babies grow up a little bit, then you'll sell the babies with, or you'll give the babies with the pair.
If somebody pair proves and the babies are about 10 days old, then we ship the babies with the pair and just give them to the one who bought the pair.
Yeah.
But most of the time the people want them earlier, so Discus people are most of them impatient, so they want them as soon as possible.
Wow, this leopard guy here is incredible. So obviously you have, if nobody's heard of you before, they must not know Discus A, but the Discus you have are world class for sure. Of all the types that you get in, which one's your highest seller, and maybe which style is your personal favorite? Now this row that we're looking at here, these are all your breeders. So these are like salad plate size, right? How do you gauge these? Like 6, 8 inches?
6, 7 inch.
6, 7 inch?
6, 7 inch.
I think they're 8 inches, but I'm a guy.
Man rule.
Man rule, yeah.
All the Discus go from Stenker in Germany. We don't breed any fish over here. All the fish we sell are bred and raised by Stenker in Germany.
Okay. So these, you get them,
On
you get
size.
shipments.
We get them on sizing.
On sizing, yeah. And so, of all the ones that you get, though, what is the most popular?
You know, just the
Pigeon blood, or
the blue diamond is very popular.
Yeah.
The Stenker Dark Angel, the new one where you're just looking at the German Wonder.
yeah, he's really pretty.
German Wonders are nice. Good sellers.
This is the Dark Angel here.
That is the Dark Angel. And one of the two is sold because that happens sometimes before I can prove them. Some people want one of them, and then we sell them. If they are not proven, we sell them all as single fish. At the moment when they are proven, we don't break them up anymore.
So I don't think I've ever seen a Dark Angel before, at least that I'm aware of. Why is it called the Dark Angel? Because it looks pretty light to me.
Why do they call you less?
just no reason.
It's just in a name.
So the Discus is big. We're looking at you know, I say 8 inches, you say 6 to 7. This checkerboard here, how old is that fish? Like how long, if somebody's gonna buy a 2 to 5 inch fish, how long until they're a big?
This fish is approximately 1.5 to 2 years old.
That's it. Wow. So even if you start with a 2 inch fish, you're not that far away from a big guy like this.
It takes some time, but you know, if you count, some people buy 10 small fish in the hope to get a few of those big fish. But if you count how much time it takes, how much water changes, how much food, sometimes if you really want to go for breeders, it's better to buy them big because it saves you a lot of time, saves you a lot of money in feeding and water changes. And most discus people want instant gratification.
Yeah. So I know you obsess about water quality for sure.
Yes.
I mean, with 20% water changes 3 times a week, is basically what you're doing, which you know most hobbyists aren't going to do. So a typical hobbyist, what do you recommend for that to keep an adult like this?
You know, everything is dependable on the size of your tank, how many fish, and how many food throw you in. The discus don't make the water dirty. It's the owner by throwing too much food in.
Too much food. Yeah, as always, right?
Yeah,
with any
that
fish.
is with any fish. And the point is, you can't get away with one water change a week of 25%. If you got the right amount of fish, not throw too much food in there, then you can get away. But measuring your water is most important.
So water quality, like your water
Just
parameters.
check your water
Yeah.
on your ammonia, NO2 and NO3. Those are the most important. Ammonia, NO2 and NO3. The ammonia and NO2 are 0 and your NO3 is not going over 40.
So nitrate, so NO2 and NO3, for you guys that may not know out there, NO2 is nitrate. So your nitrogen cycle goes ammonia to nitrite to nitrate. So he's saying ammonia and nitrite are 0, but nitrate a little less than 40. That isn't actually very difficult.
No.
Nitrate of 40 is pretty hot. Like so, people think of discus as really sensitive, but that's pretty tolerant, I would say.
You know, if you get wild discus, they are most of the time more sensitive. Those fish swim in super clean water almost in Amazon, but the stenker discus are raised in harder water and they are way easier to keep. And people sometimes go too dramatic and of course they our old water, we only use straight tap water over here. And
So you use straight tap water, and you're in Baltimore. So what does that mean for your tap water here?
It's
Medium?
The tap water is about 7.2 when it comes in. The microseep, the last time I measured was around 400. So it's pretty medium.
So TDS of 400.
Medium water.
Medium
so
water,
it's not that crazy. And they do fine.
So I see you got a lot of these fish are already sold. So how often do you get fish in typically, and you know, especially on these big guys, and how often, you know, how fast do they move out?
Approximately every 4 or 5 weeks we get a shipment in.
Wow. And you get how many fish per shipment?
Between the 1,500 and the 2,000.
So you're moving, wow, that's incredible. Of all these high-end discus.
And the shipments are just what I need to fill up my stock. Every shipments are mostly 2.5 inch because those are the ones that we sell the most, and the adults we fill up just when needed.
So here's, you know, my personal favorite, I think, is the pigeon bloods, but you know, you can't go wrong with the Cobalt discus.
You know, my favorites are more the Langers, just the brown.
Yeah.
Looking fish.
More, you like more wild type style?
The wild look, or the Stenker Tefe, those are more the wild looking fish. That's what I like personally the most.
Cool. Well, we got a customer, so
Picking up some food.
You
run out of food.
I've been growing Hans's discus since I was 10 years old.
And you run out
40
of
years.
40 years.
Almost 40.
you run out of food, so we have to give him some food.
so get him some food. Well, we'll look at some eye candy
Right
here.
back.
All right. We'll keep looking at some eye candy. So here's a brilliant. So these guys are here are a little smaller. So they're 225. I would call this 5 to 6 inch, where the ones above, like we were looking at earlier, I know Hans says that they're 5 to 6, but that looks like much bigger to me. But if you know discus shape and quality, these are just impeccable. No bumps on the heads. I mean, the shape is just unreal on these guys. So if you're looking for world-class discus, it's hard to beat anything here. Stenker does a great job, and he couldn't have a better steward to the hobby of discus keeping than Hans, who just, he is the epitome of a European aquarist that is just completely dedicated to the animals and water quality and making sure they have the right nutrition and everything. And if you are a fan of Cobalt foods and you have discus, you might know that we have a Discus Hans food in our lineup that's designed to feed discus. And what we did is Hans creates a food out of meat, raw meat that we make here, and that he makes here, and we provide the base nutrition for that raw meat food that becomes his Hans frozen food that he feeds. And then we took that exact same formula and we converted it to a flake food. So you can get the same quality nutrition that he makes out of a raw beef formula in a flake as part of your food regimen for your discus. So here we're dropping down in size, and you can obviously see some of the color on these guys. They don't use any hormones or any color enhancers really here. So this is all the natural color. These are 2.5 inch pigeon bloods, and retail price is $30 on those guys. And not too long from now, you saw the big pigeon blood earlier. These are going to be incredible looking guys. Oh, here, they're there, right here. So those guys, within a year and a half, according to Hans, turn into these guys, which
You can see they're cleaning the combs. You see?
they're getting ready to breed right there.
Laying eggs.
Yep. So what else can you tell us, Hans? You do water changes 20% every other day.
For us, water changes is very easy. We don't do the water changes on the tanks. I do the water changes on my filter system. And the only thing what I have to do, and it's maybe a little bit hard to see, is because the only thing normally is running now and transporting from the pump to the tanks. If I open that valve and close the one to the tanks, then instead of the water pumping to the tanks, it pumps it to the drain. So what we do is drain our filter system, fill it up with fresh water again, and then slowly the fresh water gets mixed through the tanks. So we never hit the fish directly with big water changes. It goes slowly to the tanks.
Okay, so let me see if I got this right. So your pump that's down here is currently pumping up to the tanks
now to the tanks,
and then draining. So you turn that valve up top, and then that valve then switches from a pumping into the tanks to pumping down the drain.
Yep.
So you're sorry, I'm going the wrong way with the camera. Sorry, people, if I'm making you motion sick. So these sumps, how much water of the total system is the sumps? About a third?
The sump is approximately a third of the whole system.
So you're really not draining the tanks per se. You're draining the sump when you're doing your water change.
Yeah.
But then you're coming in later and you're siphoning off detritus all the time, right?
All by hand.
All by hand. Wow. So you have, I forget how many we decided, a lot. 10,000 plus gallons.
This block is 48 tanks, 150, 200 tanks.
200 tanks, and they're all 4-foot tanks. So yeah, it's a lot of water. Yeah. So how long does it take you to siphon?
That takes you about an hour to set up. To vacuum clean all the bottoms, it's about 4 hours for the
So, and how often do you do that? Once a week?
Once or twice a week.
Wow, just depends.
Yep.
So for an average pair of the big show guys, how much food do you feed them? Like do you use, typically when we're talking flake food, we're talking about a pinch of flake that they can eat with, within 3 to 5 minutes for a normal fish. For these guys, what do discus I know are a little more specialized.
We feed them mostly our beef mix.
Yeah.
For the adults, about 2 times a day, about a dime-sized piece of food of our
2 times a day, every
2
beef
times.
mix. Which I told them about how we took that beef mix formula and we used that as a base for our Discus Hans.
Yeah.
While you were busy selling, we did that. Yeah. So
When
they
I was helping the customer, you were promoting your
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
Okay, I got
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
I got it.
our stuff.
Our
Hans,
stuff.
yeah. So anyway, only a dime size twice a day. That's not as much food as people would think.
No, it is. You have to remember that the stomach of a discus is about the size of an eye.
Yeah.
So the more you throw in, it's all waste in the tank most of the time if they don't eat it.
Okay.
So you have to try to keep. It's always better a little bit to underfeed as to overfeed. Always keep the discus a little bit
Underfed. A little hungry.
Not always that they come up with the food and eat all the food.
Okay.
That you don't have food left over, because then we go back to the water changes. Every food that's left in the tank make your tank dirty.
Yeah.
It makes you to do water changes.
Hey guys, I see some comments coming across that were crooked. Something must be up with my gimbal. I apologize about that, but nothing I can do now that it's set up. So just tilt your head a little bit. I'm sorry. So anyway, dime size. Try not to overfeed them so that they don't have a bunch of waste in the bottom twice a day. So it's important to feed twice a day.
The smaller ones you feed about 3 times a day, and it is unproportioned. They're still ready to go though, for you.
Yeah, they're going.
We're gonna get some discus porn.
So it's pretty crazy that a fish that size has a stomach the size of its eyeball.
Approximately.
So, yeah, that's a pretty amazing. All right, what else you got? What can we show? Some more eye candy. So these are more of the standard size most people would buy. Yeah.
We've got here for example, some nice silver pigeons. As you see, it always showing up. Silver pigeons, yeah. What more? We've got some pigeon snake skins.
Wow, these are beautiful. So for color-wise, when somebody's buying a fish this big, obviously they're not going to be full colored most of the time.
No, the 5-inch have most of the color already.
Okay, most of it.
The smaller ones, and that is one of the reasons why if we sell our discus on our online store, we have pictures of the 2.5-inch, 3-inch, 4-inch, 5-inch. A lot of sellers show only the picture of the big adult fish. And then people have the idea that they get a 2.5-inch fish in, that they will look like the big fish.
Like the big
but
fish.
as you can see, in 3-inch start to get some color. So we made pictures of the 2.5-inch, 3-inch, 4-inch, 5, so the customer knows when they get the fish in that they don't look as an adult fish yet. They still have time to color up. It just
takes time.
I've never seen a baby with a mustache.
I've never heard that analogy before. That's great.
But they just say with discus, they take some time to get the color.
All right, so these guys here, they're 3-inchers.
Those are 3-inchers.
And then the ones right above it are
at the same time. Those are the 4-inch, and then those are the 5-inch.
4 and 5-inch up here.
Yep.
So these are what, maybe 2-3 months apart?
Approximately.
Yeah. So it doesn't take long. If you're buying small fish, it doesn't take long.
If you do a good job, we got on our the Stenker online book. There is a list what approximately the grow rate is of a Stenker discus in months and in sizes.
Cool.
There's a lot of information over there.
Okay, and that's on your site or on Stenker's site?
Stenker site, and we also got a link on
your site.
Everybody who gets an email from me at the bottom is a link to the online book.
And your website is Discus Hans?
Discus-Hans-USA.com.
And then I know you're real active on Facebook.
Yep.
And that's Discus Hans.
Discus Hans. I went there under my own name, Jacobus Coast en het Jacht. We are there with a special Stenker page, and it's the Stenker Discus USA, Discus Hans USA. So we got some different
different ones.
Facebook pages.
Okay, so just search Discus Hans on Facebook or online, and you'll find him. He's real active online now. Do you do some? I've seen on some sites, especially on the marine side, what you see is what you get. So do you do any of that, like do you on Facebook?
No,
Like
you know.
you just have stock images.
What we do, we always make movies from the adult fish. You know, if people pay $250 for a fish, I want them to know what they get.
Okay.
So from the adult fish, we always have, most of the time, movies from all the fish that we have in stock, and we update it on a regular basis so that people can really see the fish.
The actual fish.
The actual fish,
Yeah.
they can pick them and they can say, okay, I want tank number 18, and I want the fish that is in this picture on the left side. Then we take care of it. Now with the smaller fish, we can absolutely not do that.
Okay.
We got most of the time, we got 60 fish in a tank, and good luck with picking the fish.
Yeah.
And by the time you pick, most of the time, 20% of the fish are sold already. Yeah. So we ship them out, as you can see.
So on
today.
this, on a 2.5, 3 inch size, you don't do that.
No,
But on the
this-
big salad plates, you do.
And if we got an order for 5 inch, most people just order the 5 inch and they say, okay, I want this one, that one, and that one, and that one in 5 inch, and we pick nice fish for you.
Okay.
Some people really are looking for something different, and they say, okay, can you put them all together in one tank? So they make the order, we put the fish in one tank, and we make a movie for that customer, and they can
a
see.
special movie. Okay.
They can
Nice.
see what they're gonna get. And
Wow, that's awesome.
and you have to understand, for 2.5 inch, 3 inch, and 4 inch fish, we can do that. We have no time.
No time
To that.
Yeah, that's crazy. But for the big guys, you
Really,
make
for the big
effort.
guys,
Yeah.
we get always movies online, pictures online. Still working on it.
That's
Still
great.
there.
Yeah, they're still. I was hoping maybe they might go to the next step while we were online, but
Probably when you shut your camera
yeah,
off, it's
they're
like-
perfect. Yeah, they're perfect. So here's some more on this one. I can't tell in the back if there's or wigglers or
No,
they
those
already
are
hatched.
Those are still hatching. We've got a pair that just spawned, and the pair is sold already, but it's going to be picked up this
there it is,
weekend.
yep.
We can tease them a little bit.
They're not going to be happy with you doing that. Oh yeah, look at the eggs there. Nice.
Those are the eggs, and they had a batch before already, so we absolutely know that this is a male and a female, and it's sold already. It's going to be picked up this weekend. So
That's great. So for discus eggs, for those people out there that don't know, how long do discus eggs go from like the laying to wigglers until they attach to the side of the fish?
it's a little bit dependent on your water temperature, but most of the time they hatch between the 60 and the 70 hours approximately.
60 to 70 hours, and then they go straight to.
Nope, then the eggs hatch, and the fry will hang on the cone for about 2 days, and then they start coming loose, going to the parents and on the sides.
So about 6 days total, maybe. Yeah.
From laying till
Till
attachment,
attachment.
till
Wow.
attachment is approximately 6 days.
That's crazy. And that's a good. You brought up temperature. So we already talked a little bit about water quality, and at least the stinker discus, because they're raised in a little or normal water. So what do you recommend for temperature for your fish?
I recommend for the breeders you can keep it a little bit lower for the adult fish, but for the small fish we really like to keep them on 86, 87.
86, 87.
86, 87, because that keeps the metabolism in the fish high and makes them more aggressive on the food.
So metabolism. Okay. Yeah, and then
It's
so
Indian browns.
yeah, exactly. That's all right.
I'm just a foreigner.
Yeah,
you know?
you're a foreigner. It's okay. So yeah, in case you didn't try to get your name when you mentioned your name, I didn't even bother with that.
No.
Just go Discus Hans.
Yeah, that's easy.
So then for the adults, then if you wanted to keep these a little lower, like what would you recommend for the breeders?
Yeah, for the breeders, you can keep them on 83, 84. It's not a big deal. But the point is, most of the time when I ship fish to people and they call me the next day and hey, my fish are not eating, I directly tell them raise the temperature. Because then I know already if the fish is not eating, the temperature is to lower the tank, and that slows them down. And at the moment you put them on 86, 87, they're way more aggressive.
Way more aggressive. Okay. I'm amazed. I mean, I'm poking around with the camera pretty close to these tanks. A lot of people think Discus are shy. They're obviously a cichlid. They're not shy at all for the camera here. They're coming right out.
It's one of the things that is a good thing from the stem to Discus. They are used to people.
Okay. And that's because they're grown in a hatchery with a lot of...
hatchery, and it is not automatic. It's all, a lot of people are involved in there, and they are way more friendlier than a lot of other.
So these are not pond grown. These are grown in tanks.
Those are grown in tanks.
Yeah. Wow.
Discus are, most of them never pond grown.
Almost always, yeah. Tanks. Oop, he's whispering at me. This is a nice fish.
I love those little ones.
Wow, they are pretty. I don't know if you guys can catch that shine coming off the light from the door.
Let me put the lights off. Maybe sometimes it's better.
Oh yeah, look at that. We can get him to come to the front a little bit. Oh, look at that. They almost look like a fishing lure.
It's expensive bait.
Yeah. $225 bait.
Hey.
Yeah.
But be my guest.
Yep. So what else? Any other tips or anything for anybody?
No, yeah. Facebook is a great media to meet people, but be careful where you get your advice from. There are a lot of people around that manage to keep the discus alive for a week, and they think they got a PhD in discus keeping.
Yeah.
They start advising people with things that you think from, oh my God, they are gonna kill their fish.
Okay.
Medication is never the first step. Do a water change. If you think there is something going on, and heat cure is great for discus.
Heat cure by raising temperature.
By raising temperature, put them in a separated tank, raise the temperature to 92, 93 degrees. Make sure there's a good air stone in there, so the surface of the water is moving a lot. So because warmer water is less oxygen.
Yep.
And heat cure can do miracles, and you don't need to use medication. People.
So what about using salt? Do you recommend salt with these guys? Most South Americans don't like it.
Those are freshwater fish.
Yeah.
And salt you can use as a medication, but don't use it constantly in your tank because there is no need for it.
No need for it. Yep. So for kind of to summarize, water quality, aeration, and temperature are really the keys to keeping discus.
You start with good quality fish.
Yeah, good quality
Good
fish.
quality fish, because there's a lot of lesser fish on the market.
That was very.
Be careful.
That was really very politically correct of you. You're normally not that correct.
Try to say it nice. Lesser quality on the market. There are, beside us, there are other people that bring in a lot of very nice fish.
Yeah.
But be careful where you buy your fish. Most of the time,
Look at this checkerboard.
cheap is not always cheap.
Yeah. Just like everything,
careful.
quality. Yeah.
Everything has its price. If it is almost too cheap to be good, true,
It probably
most of
is,
the time,
yeah.
it is most of the time. Be careful and yeah,
So lots of water changes.
not lots of water changes.
Well, 2 to 3. Well, you do lots of water changes.
I do a lot because we got a lot of fish in the tanks,
Yeah.
and we throw a lot of food in.
Once a week.
Normally,
20%.
if you check your water. That's the most important. Check your water or your ammonia, NO2 and NO3. Don't get the NO2. Of course, ammonia and NO2 has to be 0. NO3 is going up because of the end product from the bacteria breaking down the ammonia and NO2. That goes up, and it should go up. If people tell me my ammonia, NO2 and NO3 are all 0, my water is fine. Your water is not fine because there is always NO3 in your water.
Yep. Always.
And
Yeah.
that you take out by doing a water change. So don't let it come over 40. Some people want it lower. That is all up to you. But measure your water. You cannot say you have to do 2 water changes a week. You have to do 3 water changes, 1 water change. Measure your water, because then you know what is acceptable for your tank.
And every tank's a little bit different.
Every tank is different. Every people feeds different. Every people has more. Some people have an amount of fish in the tank that you think, oh my gosh, is there still room left?
Yeah.
You know, you probably have to do a little more water changes.
So for big adults like that, say in a 75-gallon tank, how many would you recommend?
About 6, 7, 8.
6, 7, some
Oh, yeah, yeah.
6 to 8.
That's fine.
You're okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's, I mean, those are big fish. 8 fish of that size in a 75. It's full. I mean, you got a lot of stuff going on with that. Now, whether you could afford to put that many fish that big in that tank, 6, 7, 8. That's what, $2,000 if you bought them all?
Yeah.
Adults, that's sweet. Nice. But that would be a crazy tank.
A nice tank.
Yeah, very nice
Now,
tank.
a nice tank would be 1,000 gallon.
Yeah.
And I got a customer who has a tank like that, and it's freaking amazing.
So, what kind of fish do you recommend to go with discus, or do you want to have it just as only a discus tank?
You know, remember your discus is a big investment in your tank.
Yeah.
If you want to add other fish like cardinals, rummy noses, hatchets, small plecos, there is a ton. And again, on the Stenker online free book, there is a list what you can put all together with your discus. If you got your discus tank running and you got your deep discus in there, be careful with adding more fish. Every fish that are not Stenker discus, keep them in a quarantine tank for 8 to 10 weeks. Make sure that your fish are healthy before you put them with your big investment on discus.
So quarantine is a big deal.
Quarantine for other fish is a big deal. If you have our fish in your tank and you want to add more, I ship it to you and you can directly put them with your other Stenker discus, no problem.
No problem. That's an important thing to note, because these are all tank bred. So if they come from the same systems,
They all come from the same facility.
Yeah.
Mixing discus is a problem at the moment, and it is not only mixing Asian with German discus, it's also from mixing Asian breeder A from Asian breeder B, and all discus from different sources have different bacteria. It can be a problem with mixing.
And these guys are not wild type by any means, so they're bred down, you know. So they're
not bred down, they're bred up.
Bred up. I'm sorry, bred up. Politically correct. Bred up. They're bred up to these colors. So
And those colors and handling.
but they're used to
Easier.
they've seen a certain biota, and then if they get introduced to different bacteria, they may not have an immunity build up to them. So that,
You know,
that mixing part.
It's almost compatible with if you take the water in Mexico, the Mexicans can drink it.
Yep.
If you try it, you can die.
Yep.
So, and it's the same with fish. They are used to certain bacteria in the water. If you mix them up from different sources, it can be a big deal. But you just have to be careful. And we can talk about this for hours. But
I've been to Nada. People talk about it for hours.
We don't want to go too deep in this thing.
Yeah.
But just be careful.
Be careful with it. Yep.
Discus from different sources.
And I think the acclimating the quarantine you mentioned for other fish, that's not just discus, but also cardinals, everything.
Cardinals,
Yep.
plecos,
And whatever else. And then once you have the fish quarantined and you put them in, when you're quarantining them, you also want to bring them up to the temperature of your display, because most tropicals you're not keeping at 80, 84, 86 degrees,
Well,
right?
You can do that in your quarantine.
In your
already.
quarantine, that's what I mean, yeah. So
Just
the
the
temperature
tank where they
protocol
have to go.
of not only quarantining, but also acclimating them up to the temperature of your main display is important. getting a little frisky. All right, well, any other thing that you think we're forgetting to discuss? We got a lot of eye candy and talked about how great you are and
You know what?
an asset you are to the hobby.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's a humble man.
It's just a job. Somebody has to do it, and I'm glad it's me. And especially with the Stenker discus, because it's a lot easier to work with the Stenker discus
Than others.
with
Yeah.
others.
All right.
Of course, opinions are different about those things, but we know that we sell a good fish, and Stenker is doing a great job not breeding those fish. So we are happy to be a Stenker supplier here in the U.S.
That's great. And you know, the other thing that you're famous for, which we worked together on years and years ago, is the ACA we started together.
Yep.
The child decorating contest, the kids contest.
Kids competition, yep.
And that's become a mainstay not only with the ACA, but basically every other club around. And I'll never forget when you and your wife called me up that day when I was at Marineland. God, that must be, we're getting old, dude. That was probably more than 20-something years ago now.
No, not that bad. It's about 10 years ago, I think.
No, you're getting old, dude.
It was before.
Because Cobalt this month is 8 years old alone. And we had that conversation. Yeah, it's been
Just
12,
after
15
that-
years ago.
No. Just after that conversation, you started Cobalt.
Yep.
So it's just a lot. And thanks to you,
Now,
this thing is running now. The kids kid competition.
yep.
Because it was for us very hard to find sponsors, and at that moment you were the only one who believed in it, because everybody said, oh, this is not gonna work, nobody's going to do it. So you helped us out, and the rest we financed out of our own pocket because we believed in it, and it
Yeah.
was a huge success. And the funny thing is that the second time that we wanted to do it, we didn't have to pay anything, because everybody
wanted
to
part of
jump
it,
on the,
yeah.
wanted to jump on the bandwagon.
And it
I'm
seems
glad we
it's
don't have the time to do it anymore. But I'm glad
But you
that
started
other people,
that, yeah.
I'm glad that other people picked it up, and it's still ongoing. And it's
if anybody's
fun.
been to any club event, and their annual big event, basically every club in the country now does it.
Yeah.
All the major shows do it, and you know, it's just funny that, I mean, you know, let's say 15 years ago, just to make it easy.
it's lesser, but
What, 10, 15 years ago, nobody had done it before.
No.
So, I mean, it was really that innovation, and now today, most people in the club probably don't realize that it never existed even just a short time ago. Yeah.
it was, it's a good feeling, and it is so important, because what you hope is that you bring more children in the hobby.
Yep.
Because go to a club meeting, everybody's getting great.
Yep.
We need more children in the hobby, and that is hopefully we did our part of that to bring more children in the hobby.
Well, I think you've done more than your part. That's to become a mainstay in the hobby and in shows, you know, around the U.S. for sure. But anyway, well, unless there's anything else, we've shown you guys some world-class discus. You've met a world-class individual and somebody that's definitely made his mark on the hobby. And it's my true honor to call him my friend. And you know, we've done some crazy things over the years.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
Always fun things.
yeah, always fun things. Yep.
And it's I hope a little bit is done now, because I still have to fill some boxes.
Yeah, he's got these orders ready to go, and I'm keeping him from his work. So, all right, my friend, let's shake hands. And
Good
I'm
seeing
sorry, I
you,
got to keep it up high.
friend.
Yep.
I'm
And-
gonna hug him later, but
Okay. But thank you for everything, and well, you guys, if there's any questions, reach out either to Cobalt on our Facebook page where you're here now, or reach out to Discus Hans through his website or his Facebook page. He is an absolute wealth of information and a true resource for the industry. We were talking at lunch earlier how much he loves talking to people and answering questions. So, you know, he you know, take advantage of somebody like this in the world.
one thing is, I don't know everything. But the good thing is, I know a lot of things where I can find it. So
Yeah.
it's, a good lead is already the Stenker online free book. take a look at that because there's a lot of information there.
And that
Can help
that
you.
book you've mentioned a few times. You can. There's a link on your site to that.
I can email me because every time when you get an email, the address is on the bottom of my email.
All right. So search Discus Hans, send them an email, and you can get that online book.
I can spell it out, but it's in German, so it's a little bit hard to do. But
Okay,
the
that's all right.
whole book is in English, in different languages, in French, German, Spanish, Dutch. It's in different languages.
So no matter where you are on the road, you should be able
And
to.
Americans, it's free.
It's free. There you go. Courtesy of
Study
Discus Hans and Stenker Discus. Yep. All right, my friend. Well, we appreciate the time today, and thank you for showing us around your incredible facility and all your eye candy.
More than welcome. my friend.
All right, man. Thank you very much. See you guys.
Later.
Bye.
Later.